Hey you guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel where I inform you, I educate you, and I inspire you. So with that being said, I'm just the messenger. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2022, and it's going on 7:55 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you guys are enjoying your day, your morning, or evening, regardless of where you are, as well as staying hydrated by drinking plenty of water and preparing yourself for the weather. So that being said, I suggest and advise information. I speak from a place of experience, and I inform you guys by helping you guys stay motivated. So that being said, I do not know everything. Like I said, I speak from a place of experience. If not, I like to educate and inform the collective by using natural resources from our Akashic records, from using the internet, dictionary, the sources, as well as everyday opportunities and exposure. So with that being said, if these messages resonate with you, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're commenting down below. And most importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So for today's video, we will go over and discuss why is self-care important. So really quickly, because I suggest and advise information, I do not tell people what to do or how to feel. With that being said, healing is a choice and it's optional. So why is self-care important? What I first want to start off and suggest to you guys is that when it comes to understanding yourself as well as your worth, you will prioritize yourself. So when it comes to understanding why your self-care is important, when it comes to your priorities, you can understand your physical, your mental, emotional, and your well-being. So when it comes to understanding the relevancy and how to prioritize those areas, you're able to realize where you're lacking, where you would like to grow, and what's working for you and what's not. So something I'd like to suggest and advise when it comes to understanding your self-care is making a pros and cons list. And the reason why I want you guys to make a pros and cons list is so you're able to get to know yourself. If you're not able to reflect, if you're not able to understand, you're not able to know what it is that you want, you desire, or you need, you may not know why you are important. Rather, it's your emotional, your physical, your finances, or even just, your well-being. And when it comes to self-care, like I said, those areas you want to make sure that you promote and you understand how growth is going to help you. So something I tell you guys, for those of you who are returning, is to go ahead and purchase yourself a notebook, a journal, or some form of document where you're able to write down, like I said, the pros and the cons list. And the pros and the cons list has helped me along my way in my journey because I'm able to understand my needs and my wants. It's a difference between your needs and your wants. So when you make a pros and a cons list about yourself, so like what you like and what you don't like, you're able to see and make it more convenient for you to accomplish what it is that you want. When you have specific intentions as well as direction, it makes it easier for you to prioritize what your needs and your wants are. So before you overwhelm yourself, before you try to do a trillion things in a day, not being so hard on yourself and being realistic. The reason why you want to make a pros and a cons list because it helps you get in order as well as organizing your thoughts as well as your emotions. So after you make this pros and a con list, I want you to start, if you can, every day or whenever you choose to, because healing yourself, it takes time and energy and effort. So like going to the gym, the more time and energy and effort you apply yourself, the more time and energy you will see results. You want to start to write down how you feel, whether it's mentally, emotionally, financially, and if you're not able to verbally express yourself, intuitively suggest and advise how you feel. And the reason why I'm saying suggest and advise is because your thoughts necessarily may not come from you. People have projected their thoughts onto you. You may be exposed to an environment where you're not able to understand. So until you're able to get to the rhythm, the flow, and a pattern and a realization of where your thoughts are coming from, why you feel the way you do, and you're able to express yourself, you're able to realize, okay, what's triggering you and why are you having these thought processes, rather they're negative or positive. Because your emotion, your thoughts are something that you're going to be exposed to every single day, and because every single day is different and you can only do so much while you can in a day, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So after you make your pros and your cons list and you write down how you feel, you're going to make a needs and your wants. So what's the difference between pros and cons and needs and your wants? Your needs and your wants are prioritizing yourself with your everyday life. So if you do not have a routine, the next thing I want to suggest and advise is making a needs and a want. So after you're able to understand what you like and what you don't like, after you're able to understand how you feel, what you're going through, and expressing yourself, you can then now decide what it is that you want for yourself and what you don't want for yourself, or what it is that's most important to you and least relevant. Once you're able to make your pros and your cons list, once you're able to express your thoughts, you can now understand your needs and your wants, and then now the next step is to take action. So after you figure out specifically and you're able to get organized and be specific, you can then now start planning out your day, your week, or your month. And knowing, for example, if you have 5 things to do within a day and realistically you're not able to do all 5 of them, this is where you get your needs and your wants list and you're able to decide from first to last which is the most important thing, which is the most relevant to you, what's the most time consuming, and decide how you want to go about getting things done. Now, of course, the more you practice, like I said, the more you will become consistent. Being consistent is something that takes time and energy, because when it comes to healing, if you're depressed, you have anxiety, if you're suffering from ADHD, trauma, OCD, any form of attachment, you are now doing something that you've never done before. So when it comes to healing, you don't want to compare yourself. You don't want to allow people, places, and things that are not aligned with you in your present moment, as well as your future and your past to reflect. So when it comes to your past, your present, your future, you want to learn and take some time to yourself and not be so hard on yourself. So accepting your past is another thing I want to suggest and advise to you guys. When you accept your past, you're able to acknowledge, take action, and adapt to your situation. So whatever happened to you yesterday, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, learning to start from there. If you have a lot of trauma, if you have a lot of suffering, knowing that just because I'm suggesting advising this information that you're not going to be able to heal overnight. It took me 5 years to mentally heal myself, and I'm still like healing myself in other areas. So the more you practice, the more you reflect, and the more you apply yourself. This is why I tell you guys to get a notebook, because the more you're able to either write down how you feel or verbally express yourself, the more you're able to understand yourself. So your self-care is going to be important because it improves your physical health. It can reduce your anxiety, your stress. It could boost your self-esteem. It also can protect your mental health, as well as bettering the relationships that you have or you may suffer from. So the more you're able to practice, the more you're able to understand why your self-care is relevant as well as important. Okay, so sorry about that. Once you're able to, like I said, make your pros and your cons, your needs and your wants, and understand your thoughts, this is how I want to suggest and advise you going about handling your task. Every single day, I want you to, one, start your day and setting off your day by being intentional. So before you start your day, have your intentions, and this is something that I'm learning to practice every single day, is being intentional. But when you are learning to be intentional, it can be overwhelming, it can be frustrating, it can be confusing, and it can be scary because you're doing something that you've never done before. Just because you're doing something that you've never done before doesn't mean it's not possible. And you guys, I'm currently in the process of trusting myself and knowing that if I say something, that not only am I going to do it, but it's going to work out for me. And I am someone who, when it comes to trust, I'm learning to trust. And when it comes to trusting myself, I trust myself in certain areas, but I have to know that if I trust myself in certain areas, I should want to be able to trust myself completely. The more you're able to practice, the more you're able to feel confident and you're able to grow. So why is self-care important? Your self-care is important because you want to learn to make your life, better for you. You don't want to be stressed out. You don't want to be, negative. You don't want to be angry, you don't want to be miserable, you don't want to be bitter. So when you're able to, promote your mind, you're able to promote your growth, whether it's financially, emotionally, supernaturally, physically, or even, intuitively, the more you're able to appreciate yourself as well as trusting yourself. The more you're able to be, relevant to your mind, your thoughts, and your emotions, the more likely it is you're able to prioritize yourself. And you want to ensure that you are doing the best that you can because it's only one you. So something that I tell you guys all the time is to take your time. And once again, being mindful of the company that you keep around. Like, if you need to, start removing yourself from people, places, and things that don't serve you. And I know you're like, Todd, well, I know these people for 10 years, 5 years. If people in your life care about you and they want you to do well, they will promote that. So if you get around people, they make you feel uncomfortable, you get around people, you talk about certain things, they're not able to support you, removing yourself. What is the purpose of being in a relationship with anybody or anything if it's not helping you grow, if it's not educating you, if it's not financing you, if it's not willing to, be patient with you or understand you? And it's not to say that you can't just have, relationships that don't have any value or bring you any substance, but understanding the time and energy. You are what you attract. So like the company you keep around, the people you listen to, the environment you surround yourself with, as well as your exposure. So why self-care is important: it helps you understand yourself. It helps you understand and realize, that you are important, that you are worthy, and that you're able to do whatever it is that you want for yourself. So the more you're able to practice, the more you're able to realize and understand your growth. Okay, so my camera got cut off again, but I think the last thing I was saying is just practicing daily so you're able to understand your growth. And don't mind, you guys, the deodorant stains that I have. I just washed this shirt, but I didn't realize that the deodorant pressed upon it. So self-care is important because you caring about yourself is important. A lot of people take time and energy to care for any and everybody else but themselves. And one thing I could say from experience and what has helped me along my journey was that you have to come first. Like, it is not selfish for you to take care of you, because yes, your friends and family and peers are going to be there for you, but they're not going to be there for you forever. Meaning, the more independent you become, the more you're able to give and have healthy relationships, the more you're able to be in relationships with people that are meant to be in you. Like, if you are you 100% yourself in all areas in life, the people that you come across are just there for you to be appreciative of, are just there for you to grow, are just there for you to help you. And one thing, like I said, from experience that I had to learn is that I was there for myself and I was giving to people, and it ended up leaving me financially, emotionally, physically drained. You don't want to drain yourself from being there for everybody when you need to be your biggest support. You need to be able to take care of yourself. So self-care is important, because if you cannot take care of yourself, everyone else is not going to be there to take care of you all the time. Like, yes, we have our mom and dads, yes, we have certain people in our lives, but they're not always going to be there. From experience, I've learned that from losing a parent, only having one parent, and for those people who have no parents or no guardians, at the end of the day, one thing I believe Mel Robbins said, no one's going to tell you to get up. No one's going to tell you to brush your teeth. You have to be able to learn how to do that. And once again, we have been in a world where it's so much easier to depend on other people. But the more you're able to take care of yourself, the more you're able to be an individual, the more you're able to enjoy your life and realize that you are all that you have. That's why you get into relationships and you're like, well, people did this to me and I would never do that to them. You cannot love people more than they love themselves. Like, I've supported people, and until people heal themselves, they're not going to be able to accept the love that I wanted to give. Until people work on themselves, they're not going to be able to appreciate why I came into their life and why I want to help them. And not just that, relationships should be mutual. So whatever you have, you should want in another person, because it's like, what is the purpose of being with somebody if you could take care of yourself or you don't know how to take care of yourself? The people that you have in your life should bring value, because if you are important and you take care of yourself, it's an option to be around people. It's an option to work at a job. It's an option to be in relationships. You are your most important possession, your physical body. That's the most important thing that you should, I want to suggest and advise, take care of. So self-care is important because, like I said, we don't want to have anxiety. We don't want to be overwhelmed. We don't want to be stressed. We want to have better relationships. We want to better our mind, and we want to better ourselves. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Live your life. Don't forget to say YOLO, and make sure you guys are practicing daily.